We're joined tonight by ABC senior political correspondent Rachel Scott with the story stirring deep emotions.
Byron, and it is a tragic story. It's an example of the confusion that has happened in some states after the fall of Roe versus Wade, raising questions about what doctors and families can do in the rare instance where a woman is pregnant and legally dead.
You know, you just want to scream. You just want to scream, you know? She's my daughter, my first daughter.
It's an unimaginable pain that April Newkirk has held on to for months. What do you want people to know about Adriana, your daughter?
She was just like a ray of sunshine. She loved her family and her friends. She was very, very smart.
In February, her daughter Adriana Smith was 9 weeks pregnant, expecting her second child, when suddenly her health spiraled. Her story making headlines across the country.
Adriana Smith has been on life support since February.
A pregnant woman kept alive after being declared brain dead in Atlanta.
It's one of the most shocking and rarest cases in the world. The 30-year-old brain dead woman was kept on ventilators, continuing her pregnancy for 4 more months.
Did the doctors give you any choices to make? Any options?
The option was that there's a law in place and they have to follow the guidelines of the law. So I guess the heartbeat law, and the baby did have a strong heartbeat. He was going to be treated as the patient, not Adriana.
The case raising serious ethical, moral, and legal questions about continuing a pregnancy for a woman who has already been pronounced dead.
It is extremely unprecedented to have a mom who is brain dead sustained on life support starting from the first trimester.
The biggest and most startling and disturbing fact is this one was 9 weeks. That baby's going to be inside a dead body for a very long time.
Amazingly enough, there were only 4 cases in which the brain death was diagnosed in a pregnant woman before 14 weeks.
Is it worth it to try and save a fetus to become a child in a dead woman?
This case sparking a nationwide debate about a state's controversial abortion law, the possible unintended consequences, and a family's right to choose.
I feel like we should have had a choice, but we didn't. I really think it should be a choice. I just do.
Adriana was kept on life support for 4 months after she was declared dead, long enough to deliver her son Chance. He's been in the NICU ever since. At 6 months old, still fighting for his life, unable to breathe on his own. Adriana's mother, April, sitting down with ABC News for an exclusive network interview.
I'm going to stand up and I'm going to speak for my daughter. And I'm going to advocate for other women, too.
April says Adriana had big plans, a new job, school, and then shared even bigger news. She was pregnant, expecting her second child.
When did you start to realize that something was wrong with Adriana?
And I think she was having really, really, really bad headaches. Really, really bad, to the point where that's when she went to the hospital. She had got a prescription, something like, you know, a little stronger than Tylenol that they give pregnant women, but she didn't have a CT scan done.
April says Adriana was sent home by the hospital, but then things took a turn.
She was unresponsive. She was gasping.
This time, Adriana was rushed to a different hospital. This one, part of the Emory healthcare system, where she worked as a registered nurse. Her diagnosis was devastating.
CT scan showed that there were blood clots everywhere. Everywhere. They waited a day to see, you know, what was going on and run tests and stuff like that. I stayed overnight. I didn't leave her. You know, she never woke up.
Adriana was placed on life support on February 9th.
They declared her brain death February 19th. And actually, that's what's on a death certificate, February 19th. The fetus at the time had a heartbeat. So they said that they would treat the baby as the patient, and she was no longer the patient because of the law that they have here in Georgia.
Did you feel in those moments that you had clarity from the doctors?
The clarity was there was nothing that I could, you know, nothing that they can do but treat the baby as the patient. I mean, her dad, you know, we talked about it. We were really like, we really don't have a choice. So I was just like, well, maybe she'll come back to us. Maybe she'll find her way back to us.
When did you start to feel that hope was gone?
I did see her changing, her skin changing, her body changing. So when I first saw her, she looked like my daughter, you know? As time went on, she just started changing.
We reached out to Emory Healthcare and April for consent to release Adriana's medical records to ABC News. April declined to give permission. Georgia's law, known as the Life Act, went into effect after Roe v. Wade was overturned in 2022. It bans abortions as early as 6 weeks of pregnancy. The law only allows narrow exceptions for medical emergencies, rape and incest, and medically futile pregnancies. Georgia law also deems fetuses living distinct persons with the same rights.
We were so thrilled to finally have legislation that, at least from a heartbeat on, would save countless lives and spare precious women the regret, pain, and sorrow of abortion.
Suzanne Guy is an anti-abortion rights advocate. She and her daughter lobbied for the bill.
So her mother says that the doctors kept pointing back to the law.
Yes.
And that was the reason why they told her she didn't have a choice in this.
A mom being brain dead, it doesn't even qualify. If she were to be taken off life support, that does not even qualify as abortion under our law. And our heartbeat law in no way, shape, or form mandates keeping a pregnant mom on life support.
Georgia law does not specify what happens if the pregnant person is brain dead.
Do you think there should have been an exception in Adriana's case?
Rachel, I don't. That little boy is valuable and deserved to be protected and fought for.
In a statement to ABC News, the Georgia Attorney General's office said there is nothing in the Life Act that requires medical professionals to keep a woman on life support after brain death. Removing life support is not an action with the purpose to terminate a pregnancy. In initial statements in May, Emory Healthcare said they make individualized treatment recommendations in compliance with Georgia's abortion laws and all other applicable laws. But in a recent statement to ABC News, they did not mention abortion laws, saying in part, "We are foremost guided by patient autonomy, and in situations where patients cannot express their preferences, we rely on their advance directive, healthcare agent, or legally authorized surrogate decision maker. This extends to healthcare decisions at the end of life."
We have murky questions about how is the law in the state to be interpreted? Are people too afraid of getting in trouble somehow if they don't act in a certain way?
Doctors say keeping the fetus healthy inside the womb of a brain-dead mother can be difficult, but it can be done.
If the placenta is getting enough blood flow so that the baby is getting enough oxygen, the baby can do okay.
Dr. Vincenzo Bergella is a maternal fetal medicine specialist who has studied all 35 known cases of brain death in pregnancy worldwide. Only 4 were in the first trimester, before 14 weeks. Only 2 of those babies survived.
These are very rare cases. On 9 weeks, chances are, even if you want to continue the pregnancy, that the baby is not going to make it.
Adriana's pregnancy on life support lasted 16 weeks.
Is there no protocol? There's no agreed upon method. To be blunt, we don't know what we're doing. I'd be worried if we presented this as a treatment. It's not. It's an experiment.
World-renowned bioethicist Arthur Kaplan says Adriana's case raises significant ethical concerns.
The ethics of whether you'd be willing to do that come up against a pretty strong principle: do no harm. And here you're worried that you're going to harm that fetus. It's really unlikely that we're going to be able to give you a life that isn't short and one of suffering. Is that worth pursuing? I think it's cruel to the fetus.
In June, when Adriana was around 26 weeks pregnant, April received a call from the hospital.
They told me they have to do emergency C-section. Someone called. They're in the process of doing it right now.
When you arrive at the hospital, is Chance born already?
Mm-hmm. Chance is born. And I do skin to skin. I put him on my chest.
Did you decide on the name Chance?
I did.
Why? Why choose that name?
Because I feel like he had a second chance.
Chance weighing just 1 pound and 13 ounces.
How is his health?
Well, his lungs are underdeveloped. He's not your regular premature baby. She did not feed him through food that she ate. She was fed through IV So there's a big difference. He's struggling, but he's gaining weight. He's struggling with his breathing.
These babies can be for months in the hospital, can have lung problems, heart problems, eye problems, ear problems, may need to be on oxygen for a long, long time.
Those born less than 28 weeks are 10 times increased risk of cerebral palsy. These babies are also at increased risk of intellectual disabilities.
4 days after baby Chance was delivered, Adriana was taken off ventilation. This was one of those emotional last moments with the son she leaves behind. 7-year-old Chase saying goodbye to his mother.
Can I ask what those final goodbyes were like?
It was hard. It was hard. It was hard. It was hard. And every day I think about her, every day.
Baby Chance, now 6 months old, weighing just 11 pounds. He has spent the last 185 days in the NICU, still unable to breathe on his own. April says he won't be coming home anytime soon.
Each case needs to be fully discussed with the families because ultimately they're left with that hardship if the baby's able to make it past the NICU discharge.
April now raising Adriana's oldest son, Chase.
When he asks about her now, what do you tell him about her?
That God needed her more.
For April, it's not just about the loss of her daughter, but women across the country, hoping her pain can help spare someone else.
When you think about Adriana, what do you think she would have wanted in this scenario?
She would have wanted for her parents to have a choice to make the decisions for her because she couldn't. That's what she would have wanted.
Rachel, this story sparks so much pain and so many questions. What's the hospital say about how it treated this case?
Well, Byron, we did ask Emory for specific details on the decisions made around Adriana's care. They went to the family and asked to waive the privacy rights, but were turned down. But what we do know tonight is that baby Chance is still in the hospital and still unable to breathe on his own.
Rachel, thank you so much for covering this story with so much grace and clarity. We appreciate it.